For years, I was tired, inflamed, and gaining weight. And every doctor told me it was normal. I was gaslit, ignored, and sent home with nothing but confusion. But the truth, they were never trained to fix the real root cause. This lesson is the one I wish I had when I was still trapped. And if you feel broken, it's not your fault. You see, there's a unique kind of pain that comes from knowing something is wrong in your body, but being told it's all in your head. That was my life for 24 years. I remember sitting in the doctor's office, sharing with him my symptoms: joint pain, constant fatigue, depression and suicidal thoughts, brain fog, erectile dysfunction, high blood sugar, and high blood pressure. We did some lab work and everything came back normal. And each time I asked the question, then why do I feel so terrible? The answer was the same every time from my doctor. You're fine. Maybe you're just stressed. No one asked me about what I was eating. No one asked me about inflammation. No one asked me about sleep, toxins, mindset. No, instead, I was just handed a prescription for a medication: antidepressants, statins, blood pressure meds, and others. And I was in my early 20s. See, this is what medical gaslighting looks like. It's when the system convinces you to stop trusting your body and just take a medication. And the scariest part, most doctors don't even realize they're doing this. I've learned this after 18 years of studying the system. Most doctors mean well, but they're trained by a system that was never designed to make you well. I used to say the system is broken. I no longer feel that way. The system is operating the way that it was designed. It's a cash flow subscription business model. Empty hospital beds don't make money. A cured patient is a lost customer. You see, medical doctors, when they go through medical school, most of them receive less than 20 total hours of nutritional education. And much of that nutritional education is funded by, you guessed it, big food and big pharma. You see, they're taught to identify symptoms, match them to a diagnosis, and then prescribe a drug. They've got codes for all of this. That's not healthcare, that's disease management. And what's crazy to me is that in the United States alone, we spend $4.6 trillion on healthcare every single year. If that was a GDP, this would be the fourth largest GDP in the entire world. And you might think, okay, that means the United States should be a healthy nation. We must rank top 5 in the world in terms of health. We don't. Top 15? Nope. Top 30? We are number 37 in the world. Yet pharmaceutical companies are richer than ever before, and we're sicker than ever before. So when you come into your doctor's appointment saying you feel exhausted all the time, something is not right, they'll look at your labs and look at the standard reference range and probably say everything looks normal. You see, they're not looking at it from a functional lens. They're looking at it to diagnose disease. But those symptoms, although not showing up on your labs, will eventually lead to disease 5, 10, sometimes 20 years later. Meanwhile, you feel like crap. That's exactly how I felt. See, it's important to understand that the reference range on your lab report that your doctor's looking at is factoring in the millions of people in the United States or your country that have taken the same labs. And in the United States, 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. Do you really want to be the average of unhealthy people? You see, it's not that they don't care. Doctors care. They're just not trained on the root causes. So when you question the medication and say something like, "Doc, something's wrong here," you're often made to feel like you're the problem. You're too anxious, you're too lazy, you're eating too much, or not exercising enough. That's the subtle way that these doctors are gaslighting millions of people every day. So for me, my breaking point was back in 2008 when I was 24 years old. I was 80 pounds overweight. I was obese at 34% body fat. Here are some images for those watching on YouTube. My energy was gone. I had autoimmune flare-ups from Raynaud's and erythromyalgia, back pain, and a constant sense of hopelessness. As a matter of fact, I was tired of living my life. I wasn't living my life. I was tiptoeing my way through life, hoping to land safely on death's door. I was in so much pain, physically and emotionally, that I wanted to give up on myself. I explored ways to do so. And every time I explored that, I kept thinking about my mother and the devastation it would cause her if I took my life, and it stopped me from doing that. See, this moment broke me, but it also woke me up. And I believe if you're in a dark place, if you're rock bottom, you could use it as a springboard to launch into a great life of health and freedom. I realized no one was coming to save me. The system wasn't going to fix me. I had to take my power back. If you've ever been dismissed by a doctor, told everything's normal, or handed a prescription you didn't need, then you already know this. No one's coming to save you either. That's why I built the Fat Loss Academy, to give you the truth, the system, and the results they never could. See, after I transformed my health, I'm going to share with you how I did that. I worked with tens of thousands of people and built out this system so they could detach from the sick care model and take ownership and achieve healthy metabolic freedom. So in this Fat Loss Academy, we have a 30-day protocol that you start with. In the first 2 weeks, it's called the Fat Drainage Protocol. This resets your body fast. You'll get the exact foods to eliminate, even the healthy ones that's actually causing inflammation, daily meals to heal insulin resistance, and simple home habits you could adopt that are better than 90% of gym workouts. Weeks 3 and 4, you'll unlock my precision fasting protocol, designed to work with your hormones, not against them. Plus the morning and evening rituals that rebuild your body's stress response, gut health, and energy production. So we'll hand you this guide. This guide is going to show you exactly what to eat. It has 21 fat-burning recipes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm also going to give you, for only those watching right now or listening on the podcast, a 60-minute question and answer with me. That's right. A 60-minute Q&A with me. I charge $5,000 for this. You're going to get this as a bonus. If anybody decides to join the Fat Loss Academy today, you'll get access to the program, the fat burning guides, the 60-minute consult, and so much more. All you need to do is scan the code on the screen for those watching on YouTube, or click the link in the notes down below, or head over to meltfatmethod.com, and you want to start today, not tomorrow. I did this and it changed my life. Here's how I transformed my life. Here's how I detached from the medical sick care system. This was my turning point. I started to realize after reading Bob Proctor's work and studying him that I'm the only problem I will ever have. I'm also the only solution. You know, Dr. Wayne Dyer played a pivotal role in my life. He said, you got to stop blaming other people for your problems. If other people were the cause of your problems, you would have to hire a psychiatrist for the rest of the world in order for you to get better. That was the last day I stopped being the victim of my history and started to become the victor of my destiny. I stopped listening to the noise and to my doctors that were gaslighting me, and I started listening to my body. I swapped out healthy, processed foods like whole grains. I got rid of whole grains, all grains, including oatmeal. I got rid of vegetable oils, all cereals, low-fat products, and I swapped them for real foods. Eggs with the yolk, grass-fed meat, butter, avocados, and non-starchy vegetables. I started fasting. I moved my body. I cleaned up my thoughts. And within weeks, I could feel my body healing. The depression lifted. My blood pressure and blood sugars normalized. My energy came back. The fat started melting off. And the first time in my entire life, I felt alive. 9 months after these changes, I lost a total of 80 pounds of pure fat. You can see some photos for those watching on YouTube. I went from 250 pounds at my highest weight to 170 at my lowest weight, 34% body fat at my highest to 6% body fat at my lowest. But more important than the physical six-pack and the physical changes was the mental six-pack and the mental changes. I finally felt like I was in control of my life again. And the cool thing about doing it the way that I did it and the way that I'm teaching in the Fat Loss Academy is that these are permanent results. This was 18 years ago. I've kept the weight off and I actually feel better year after year. And you actually should also feel better year after year when you do it the right way. You see, your body's not broken. It's just being interfered with. You remove the interference. And God has built your body to be self-healing. This innate intelligence goes to heal your body. Unfortunately, the medical system doesn't profit on getting people healthy. It profits by keeping them sick. They sell you low-fat snacks loaded with seed oils and sugar. They tell you breakfast cereals and oatmeal is heart healthy. They create foods that hijack your brain's dopamine, then medicate you for the crash that follows. It's like a supercomputer running on bad software. The goal isn't to replace the hardware, it's to remove the interference. Once I stopped flooding my body with processed food, artificial sweeteners, and inflammatory oils, my innate intelligence came back online. My cells started burning fat for fuel again. My mitochondria, which are my energy factories, they woke up. And the cool thing, I didn't do any of this with any pills or surgery. I did it with fasting the right way, eating real food, real healthy food, gratitude, and faith in my body's design. And I've applied what I did to myself to tens of thousands of people all across the world. And I'll show you 3 real world examples of individuals who have applied what I did to myself and what I want you to do for yourself. These are 3 Fat Loss Academy students. The first one is Sally. You could see her before and after. The photo on the left is 5 days before she joined my program. The photo on the right is just 5 months after. And she said, I'm so motivated by Ben. Controlling inflammation is everything. I'm in my happy place. She's able to enjoy football games again. She loves going to college football games. She got her life back following what I teach in the Fat Loss Academy, following what I've taught you today. Then we have John Miller. John Miller did the 30-day program that I have in the Fat Loss Academy, and he lost 44.4 pounds in just the first 30 days. Now, those results are not typical. He was really overweight. He had a lot of weight to lose, but he's getting his life back. He looks better and better every time I see him post on Facebook. He's reclaiming his health. He's got more confidence, and you can see for those watching on YouTube, his incredible before and after. Then we have Gail, Fat Loss Academy student, who weighed over 300 pounds. She joined my program, and she lost about 40 pounds in the first 2 months, and then in the first 11 months, lost over 100 pounds. You could see her before and after for those watching on YouTube. She said, this isn't about dieting. It's about being healthy. I'll never go back to the food that once damaged me. Incredible. So if you want the same protocol and blueprint they followed and I followed, and I've been teaching so many people, I want you to go to meltfatmethod.com or scan the QR code on the screen. You'll get the full system, the fat burning recipes that you'll see here, the same meals that I eat, that these individuals ate. You also get a 60-minute Q&A with me that you cannot find anywhere else. I charge $5,000 for. You'll get that as a bonus for those who take action today. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box below or go to meltfatmethod.com. I want you to understand this. I'm not against doctors. I respect them. I think it's so important. But I am against a system that handcuffs these doctors. Most doctors go into medicine looking to help people, but the system trains them to manage sickness, not create health. You can't heal a society by medicating symptoms. You heal it by empowering people to trust their bodies again. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your lab result. You are not broken. You are brilliantly designed. You just have to stop silencing your body's cry for help and start listening to it. I believe you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. God has built your body to be self-healing. You just have to remove the interference. And if you've ever been gaslit by your doctor like me for so many years, if you've ever been told everything's normal, it's all in your head, while you're silently suffering, please hear me. It's not all in your head. It's in your cells. And those cells could heal, whether you're 24 years old or 84 years old. The same system that failed me for 24 years also made me who I am today. Because without that pain, I wouldn't have found my purpose and now my promise to help humanity heal. See, metabolic freedom isn't found in a pill bottle. It's found in your choices. It's found in the right system. And you have the power to choose differently starting today. Now, I'm going to get to the questions you submitted on this topic. Before I do, I want to give you a free resource. You could join the Fat Loss Academy and get a step-by-step blueprint plus that 60-minute coaching call with me. And you could also get a free resource right now, and that's going to be my Better Than Ozempic PDF. Before you inject another dollar into Ozempic, you need to see this. The truth is that 68% of Ozempic users gain the weight back. You see, you drain your muscle with Ozempic. It wrecks your hormones, and it leaves you with the Ozempic face. But there's a better way, and it's free. I created the world's easiest 7-day protocol to help you burn fat, kill cravings, and boost energy without needles, side effects, or guesswork. This is what Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. Simply click the first link in the description box below to download it for free or scan the QR code for those watching on YouTube. It's drug-free, science-backed, and it works fast. Now, let's get to your questions. How can I tell if my doctor is gaslighting me or just doesn't know the root cause? If your doctor is not asking you about what you're eating, your lifestyle behaviors, your sleep habits, and the role of toxins, chances are they're gaslighting you and they're focusing on symptoms. If they're talking about functional reference ranges on your lab report versus just standard reference ranges, then they're not gaslighting you. But if they're just looking at the standard reference range and not discussing diet and maybe saying things like, I suggest you go on this medication or just eat less and move more, those are red flags. They might be gaslighting you. What specific lab test should I ask for to find out the root cause of my symptoms? In the Fat Loss Academy, I take a deep dive into this, but I'll give you some labs that I want you to get. One of the most important labs is called a blood test, called a blood insulin, a fasting blood insulin test. It's the most important test for your metabolism. Typically, doctors don't order it because there's not a medication to prescribe for high insulin, only for high blood sugar, but you want to get a fasting insulin test. This is more important than a fasting blood sugar test. And if you have to pay out of pocket, it's not that expensive. And you want that reference range to be between 3 and 6. Anything higher shows you have insulin resistance. Other tests to get done would be a high sensitivity C-reactive protein test, HSCRP. You want that under 1.0. It's a great inflammatory test. You also want to get an A1C done, which is called hemoglobin A1C. You want that at 5.2% or below. Those are 3 tests that I recommend you get done. What role did mindset and gratitude play in your transformation? It played a big role. I would suggest you study Bob Proctor, you study Dr. Wayne Dyer, you read or listen to chapter 10 of my latest book, Metabolic Freedom. It played and continues to play a huge role. Your thoughts, your mindset, that's probably like 90% of the equation. I talk a lot about this in the Fat Loss Academy. There's some lessons on something called the self-image. We discuss this because it's so very important. But check out those 2 resources, Bob Proctor, Dr. Wayne Dyer. I hope this lesson was very valuable and it inspires you to take action and ownership. You got this. I'm rooting for you. I have your back. Let's get out there and let's treat our body with the love and care and respect that it deserves. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you love this lesson, you're going to love a previous lesson I published on fasting. And there's a fasting trick that melts 33% more fat when you apply this little hack. Here's a clip from that lesson. Then click the video on the screen coming up, and then you could watch that next. I'll see you in that next lesson. Researchers compared 2 groups. Group 1 exercised after breakfast, after they broke their fast. Group 2 exercised before they broke their fast. In other words, before breakfast, while they were in a fasted state. The results? The fasted group burned 33% more fat.